Listen, I don't care what you have to say. Women deserve equal rights. Now wait there while I do this 100-pound bench press. Is that a camera? No, don't record me, stop! Hello folks. I could give you a lengthy and girthy introduction into this video, but I'm not going to do that. Partially because I really just don't want to, and partially there's no opening jokes that don't make me sound like one of those commentary YouTubers that overlays gameplay. Hey, yo, it's still Dino. I was gonna try and impersonate one of those guys, but I thought a reverb fart would probably be more entertaining. Piece of advice to any of you new guys out there: if I hear this audio, or hear you make a joke that's not creative about oppressed gamers, I'm instantly clicking out of your video because I know you have the humor of an 8-year-old. Also, I kind of have a theory as to why that song gets played so much in Minecraft YouTube channels. It's a little bit sneaky. Hey guys, it's me, Crazy Cupcake, back with another super duper cool gaming video. But this time we're gonna do something a little different. I asked over 1,000 of you guys to send in videos of you picking up boxes with no shoes on. And today guys, we're gonna do the try not to get arrested challenge. There we get the thumbnail. Alright, sick. Now let's get into this. Yeah, so anyway, gamers are getting arrested for being racist. Toxic gaming tackled by Ubisoft's unique police alert system. Jokes with the R word, racism, bullying. If you picked up a controller or scrolled a mouse to dabble in some online gaming, then you've likely come across plenty, and you're personally welcome for all of that. The gaming industry, like others where people interact online, has been trying to figure out a way how to get grips with behavior like this for years. Ubisoft, makers of major franchises like Assassin's Creed, which they've run into the ground, Rainbow Six, which came out underneath the ground when it first was released, has now signed the first of its kind deal with police to try and tackle the issues for its players. Online gaming is a joyful experience for millions of people every day. It's a space where friendships are forged and memorable experiences are shared. Well, yeah, that's true.
You guys want to play Uno real quick and I can record it and make that my upload tonight? I don't have to know.
During the pandemic, online games were a savior for many people's mental health. Its dark side is also painful to see. Abusive behavior, death threats, and grooming can be found in online gaming spaces, and more than likely is being occurred by the Ubisoft office themselves. I seem to remember in 2021, all of your offices were exposed for sexual abuse. I think you need to stop worrying about what your players are doing, and start worrying about what your CEO's sticky fingers are getting into, because you lot are menaces. I know it wasn't Ubisoft who did this, but I remember a couple months ago I covered a story about when Blizzard went through its sexual scandal, and one of their employees was stealing breast milk off mothers. Not like directly off them. He wasn't sneaking in like the titty bandits. He was going into a padlocked fridge and taking out the mother's pumped breast milk for their children for when they get home later. Actual supervillain levels of degeneracy. Now imagine that, but 10 times worse because Ubisoft is a French company. Stealing mother's breast milk is just what they do as a pastime. I can't even imagine the creepy shit they got up to in their cigarette smoke-filled offices. We want to be on the right side of history. Ooh, I do not like that language. Normally that's when marching boots come out and people start speaking German. It's here and at 4 other locations around the world that staff monitor how players of Ubisoft games are getting on, actively getting involved with the communities that have evolved around their titles. They deal with everything from purchasing issues to online toxicity. And now we get to the scary part. The deal between the company and the Northumbria police works in 2 parts. Firstly, it sees specialist officers share their knowledge and expertise on harmful online interactions with the 200-strong team, who then apply the training to their work daily. Fine, I'm not against that at all. I would much rather have law enforcement train these people, because gaming companies, in spite of living in the biggest glass houses known to man, cast stones like they're going out of fucking style. Whenever something they do is bad, as in they make a terrible title, it's laggy and it doesn't work right, it was made by a woman, the worst part of all, and gamers have valid concerns or complaints, the developers like to go down to the old pond and start hammering that stuff out as quick as they can. It's never me, it's always these stinky gamers. They just can't appreciate my art or my blue hair. I am an infallible being. So I'd absolutely hate to see what they would define as toxicity. A little bit of cheeky banter between 2 friends, so one of these people who work at Ubisoft or these game companies might send them over the goddamn ravine edge. You gotta understand, there's 2 types of people who love the smell of their own farts, and that is 1 journalist who apparently is sent to a higher play the minute they finish college, as their AS level of English somehow makes them better than 90% of the population, and game developers. Swears down, if you have a humiliation fetish, just say something slightly off color to either group. You're gonna be bouncing around like Tigger on that thing, my bro. We could probably use your penis to drill through oil, it'll be that rock hard. Secondly, an agreement is in place so that in extreme cases where there is a threat to life or potential serious harm spotted, staff can fast track the information to police. They will then decide whether or not to act. So they can still report you regardless and flag you as a person of interest, even if it's not an extreme case. Pay attention to the language here. An agreement is in place so that in extreme cases, staff can fast track the information to police. So even in non-extreme cases, like you jokingly say to your friend, I'm going to blow up Parliament House, they can still flag you for dangerous activity. And if the police think it's worth investigating, you could potentially be brought in for questioning or for joke, which has happened before. Now in your joke's case, you may have gone the extra mile, and they might find bomb making equipment and chemicals in your shed, and then they can unjustly send you to prison for a practical joke. To say that I'm hesitant of this program is an understatement. It is way more accurate to say I am downright fearful, leaving the judgment of my fate in the hands of a bunch of people who are about as sharp as a coffee bean, who will eventually forget their training and basically just go by whatever their biases are. We have millions of players and tens of thousands, millions of interactions, so how can we spot incidents? It is daunting, but at the same time it is very important, which is why we wanted to sign this deal and try to make things right. We wanted to focus on the most extreme cases. Not gonna happen, no shot. It will absolutely become a circle jerk of moral righteousness, and make sure we do the right thing there because it gives us a solid foundation to build the rest of our work around. Less than 0.01% of cases that the center deals with end up requiring police intervention. That's a lot of people. So this center is based out of the town of Newcastle. And for argument's sake, let's take Newcastle's population. That's 800,000 people, give or take a few numbers. That means 80 people in the town of Newcastle have been reported for dangerous activities to the police, judged upon by a private company, not even the police themselves. And a private company with an agenda proving how forward-thinking they are due to recent scandals. Now you oaks can say I'm paranoid, because I am dangerously so. The voices tell me to do things a lot. But beside that, I don't think I'm acting like a lunatic in this particular case. I do not like the idea of an entire team of people studying my conversations online. A soy boy task force, if you will, whose entire purpose is to scrutinize every word I say. They may not know that I'm saying the N-word in an endearing way. They may see it as a threat. They may be purposefully looking for threats. Do you start to see the danger in this? All it takes is one of the estrogen-infused balding elite squad to decide and determine the thing I said online wasn't okay, i.e. I called someone fat and stupid, for them to then report me to the police, who can potentially open up a criminal investigation on me and slam my personal record with their long, hard shaft. But do you know, these people are trained. Yes, they are trained. But I repeat, they are a private company with an agenda, whereas the police are an objective force for the most part. They have to be. What is to stop Miss Mary Sue on Ubisoft's end saying that someone who said something maybe slightly transphobic was actually threatening their lives over them being trans, and then reporting it that way to the police? I'll give you the answer. Nothing. Does it suck that this guy is transphobic? Absolutely. And who should be handling it? The police directly. If you want to do a program like this, the police should have a hotline, the police should have taxpayer funding, and the police should be in charge of this entire operation. There should be no private hands in this honeypot. According to them, that works out to roughly a handful of cases a month. Staff in Newcastle can also recommend the company start legal proceedings in some instances, so that private company can sue you as well. Fantastic. Andrew Holliday and his team deal with cases that get close to or reach the threshold of police intervention. This isn't just a gaming problem, it is an internet problem. At least he isn't going full shaft in on gamers, but he is still surfing his own farts. There's a real appetite to make the whole ecosystem a better place. What we're working closely on with the police is trianging, where we look at this case and decide, right, this is one we can deal with in-house, or is it something that we need to pass on? Holiday tells us about a recent case in Norway, saying things were said and behaviors displayed and hit our threshold for intervention. There was a threat to life or serious harm. The agreement with Northumbria Police meant that after we flagged it, even though it wasn't a UK citizen, they were able to get the Norwegian authorities involved. It was a lot quicker, more effective, and safer than trying to do it as a private citizen. As it continues, Deborah Alderson, whose son is a massive Fortnite fan, thinks work like this is vital, yes, for the police to do. She wants this arrangement to be replicated by games companies and other police forces across the UK.
No!
I'm done with the article and I'm just gonna go off the wall. So imagine, for the sake of me, you live in some town in the middle of absolutely nowhere. You have a police force that is present, who is directly funded by the government and has certain moral principles as well as safety checks. Now imagine that crime becomes way too much for the police to handle in this town, and they have to bring in a private mercenary force who has none of these things in place to make sure that they don't go overboard and don't go based off their own moral judgments. Now that mercenary force doesn't have the same powers as the police, sure, but they are the ones who write the report for those police. They are the ones who can skew the lens for those police. It is dystopian. And that is why gamers are now the new black people. For too long, my people have suffered. Look, guys, I'm not saying that we don't need a cyber police force. First of all, that sounds sick as hell. And second of all, it is going to become necessary in the coming years. I just don't like there being middlemen. Middlemen muddy the water. Middlemen climb in your hot tub and leave a floater. It's nice that it stays warm and yes, you can eat it later, but that floater is contaminated by the water. With that being said, gamers, rise up and legally subscribe to Dino on YouTube. I'll see you later. Bye bye.